Good afternoon. I'm Dan DeRosa with 19 News, coming to you from our digital desk yet again. We want to talk about one of Cleveland's jewels. I put it right at the top of the list. Whenever you have family, friends that come to Cleveland and you start thinking, well, where are we going to take them? First on my list is the West Side Market. I just think it is such an incredible space when you walk into it. But let's be honest, we've all been there in the last few years. It needs some help. The city went through sort of a change. It's still owned by the city of Cleveland, the building itself, but the city of Cleveland has turned over the day-to-day operations and the future of the market to the Cleveland Public Market Corporation, the CPMC. They have done a lot of work. It is a nonprofit group, so they're not in this for the money. They're in it to turn this 1912 market into a premier public market, if not one of the best public market in all of the United States. And it doesn't have far to go because it is so incredible. But the exciting news today is new renderings that have been released just ahead of construction that is said to begin in May. We're talking about a $68 million renovation of our loved market. Here are some of the renderings. You can see what they've done with seating area. This is that alley area in between the fresh fruit market. Just some ideas of how to better use some of the spaces to actually have maybe teaching classes in some of the areas. Why would you not want to go to the West Side Market and take a class? And you can see the eastern facade. We've got renovation of the North Arcade as well as event space in the East Mezzanine, and it is just incredible. So for more on this topic and what you can expect, we're going to bring in the executive director of the CPMC, that's the Cleveland Public Market Corporation. Rosemary Moudry is joining us. Rosemary, thank you for taking the time today. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks so much for having me.
This is an incredible topic. If you don't love the West Side Market, I can't fathom that because it's so incredible. What is the goal of the CPMC? What is this that we are launching into here in the next months to come?
So our goal is really to preserve Cleveland's public market tradition and at the same time bring the market into the 21st century and really deliver the customer experience that people want to see and enjoy. Make sure that the market's infrastructure and building are managed in a way and are suitable for merchants for the next 50 years to come. And so, that's really our goal, is to ensure that the market can operate for the next 100 years. We've got a sustainable business plan. We've addressed the market's challenges, and we're creating customer experiences that make people want to come down all of the time.
Let's talk about phase one of the $68 million renovation. If I come down in late May, if I come down in the summer, what am I going to see? Where is the work beginning, and how excited are we going to be?
Yeah, so the work is beginning in the East Arcade, which is the part of the L that's closest to the parking lot. So folks will see some construction fencing and things like that starting in mid-May. But the whole market will be open the entire time. All of the merchants that are here now will continue to be in the market. Folks are getting ready to move around a little to accommodate construction. But I think one of the questions people had a lot was, why haven't you filled the vacant spaces? And I think in mid-May, people will understand why. We ensured that we had vacant spaces to make sure that throughout construction, we can stay open the whole time. All of our businesses have a place to be. So people are really going to get to have the same really great experience. The North Arcade will be open with all of the produce merchants. Market Hall will be open, but they'll see a little bit of construction fencing and things like that will kind of separate those activities. So we'll begin with that arcade, and then we roll into the basement and start addressing all of those infrastructure things. So new coolers, putting in HVAC systems, addressing electrical, making sure we're putting air conditioning in the building, generators. Those kinds of things are all things that we're gearing up for later in stage one.
That's, I think we can all think back to all the stories, whether we've done here at Cleveland 19, is there have been really two complaints, especially for the vendors. It's the area that we don't see, the public doesn't see. It's where all the coolers and the food storage is in the basement. And then the other complaint that we hear from even customers, it just gets too hot in the market in the summer.
Yeah.
Are we finally going to see air conditioning within the West Side Market?
Yeah, so that's a big piece of the plan, both in the produce arcades and in the main market hall, is that there will be HVAC systems in both. So in the summer when it's really hot, it's not going to be as chilly as maybe you keep your house or a grocery store, but the goal is really to bring it within a temperature that's comfortable for the people working at the market, comfortable for shoppers, and most importantly is ensuring that the market can have the best quality produce and food possible, because we're providing temperatures that equipment can really work well in and things like that.
I mean, let's be honest, it is a pretty cavernous space, and to cool or heat that massive hall, I'm assuming would not be cost effective to keep it at the same temperature, like you said, as we do our own homes. Let's talk big scope, $68 million. Let's talk big picture. How long is this renovation process to when we get to where these renderings that we've seen, that everything is completed? And not only how long will this take, but what will it be at the end?
Great question. So by the end of 2025, folks will be able to actually see and visit the East Arcade will reopen, and produce merchants will be in their new homes that have, that has heating and cooling, and that renovated space will be complete. So we wanted to start the project off with something that would both really enhance the customer experience and let customers know how money was getting invested, but that also was really going to impact merchants as well. And so we felt like the East Arcade was a great place, and it also made sense logistically and cost effectively. So by the end of the year, people will really start to see some of the early transformations, and a first couple of those renderings come to life. Then we really shift to the basement, and a lot of the work for a good year or so is going to be behind the scenes. And then in stage 2, that's when we'll really start to see some of these other spaces come to life, including the event space. So the mezzanine, some of that structural work begins in the first stage. And then the courtyard, so that's the East Arcade that'll come on quickly. Event space, that's second stage. This is the prepared foods hall and the teaching kitchen. Those are all part of the second stage. So those are all things people would expect to see in 2027, later, closer to the year 3 of the project, those will start to come on. So the project is going to take about 3 years, but we still have 18 million to go. So, I keep emphasizing this to folks. Stage 1 is fully funded, but how quickly we get some of these stage 2 items really up and running is dependent on how quickly we can continue to raise the funds for this exciting project.
And let's talk the word exciting. You obviously would not have signed on with the Cleveland Public Market Corporation if you didn't have a love for the West Side Market that so many of us share. When this gets to the end of the project and the money is raised and everything is done and we all wipe the sweat from our brow, or at least you folks do, what will this be? Give people a big picture.
So I think the things people cherish about the market, the amazing butchers and the unique produce and the items that are hard to find, all of that fresh food, people will still get that core experience. But instead of having to eat their bratwurst over a trash can, they'll be seating outside where they can actually enjoy, our great summer weather in Cleveland. There'll be opportunities for programming on that patio where we can, have music, or we can have chefs, showing people how to cook with products in the market. And then I think another really big piece of it is just those other experiential things. So in the North Arcade, one of the things that will happen is we'll really be able to showcase Cleveland's culinary scene with prepared and hot foods that are able to be eaten on site. And so there'll be seating integrated into that. So people will really be able to do that grocery shopping, but also it can be a place where they meet friends and you can actually relax and catch up with friends, and your kid can sit and eat their cookie that they've purchased. So we're excited about that. And then the event space and teaching kitchen becomes this amazing place where both weddings can happen, corporate retreats can happen, but also we can host exciting chef dinners where people can get a taste of the market and we can feature local foods. It's a place where we can do, that mission work of educating school children about nutrition and, teaching them about entrepreneurship. All of those things can happen in that event space and that teaching kitchen. So we're really excited. I think it's really about building on the history that's here and adding and supplementing more rather than changing or altering. It's additive.
It's going to be phenomenal. I just want to, for my purposes, when I report this later, that one rendering that we see, and I think it's our second picture right here, this space is really that sort of alleyway that's between the fresh produce and then heading into the market. When will we see that transform?
So that courtyard space you're exactly right. That's the alley between the arcades and the market hall. That's stage 2 as well. So that'll be one of the later things to finish when we're wrapping up construction that'll come online.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rosemary Moudry. She is the executive director of the CPMC. You have a lot of work ahead of you, but it is exciting, and I think I can speak for a lot of Clevelanders. It is about time, and so phenomenal work by the CPMC, and good luck to you folks in the future.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us today.
Absolutely. We'll be checking in on the project. Take care. That's going to wrap it up. Again, exciting times for the West Side Market ahead. It's out of the control of the city of Cleveland, and that has really propelled this idea of let's get a nonprofit in there. Let's start raising some money because to put the taxpayer burden or to put the burden on the back of taxpayers just wasn't working clearly over the last 10 to 20 years. So now this project is really, really moving forward at a good pace, and we can expect to start seeing some construction in May. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be right here on our digital platforms. Remember, we start 3.5 hours of news and first alert weather at 3 o'clock on Channel 19. So until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a great weekend.
19 News is every